Ridiculous to the truly sublime. And our next guest, well, how about these for statistics? Just the lazy, 79 appearances for the Socceroos.
Fantastic.
What if I told you that this gentleman was Johnny Warren, a Football Foundation greatest Socceroos 11 of all time, the FFA Hall of Champions.
What?
He's currently, he's played for everybody. The Collingwood Warriors, Sam, I'm sure you want to get into that in the 1996 season. He is the great man himself, Alan Davidson. Welcome aboard.
Hey, look at the top.
Wow, it's nice to see you. Alan. So first things first. Wow. So that's one of your very own old Socceroo shirts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have you had it taken out or it still fits?
Actually, no, it still fits, but
Mate, you are so fit.
You are so.
it's interesting. This one, back in the early '80s, I received a 10. Normally, I've got what I think I've got about 79 number 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
But there was one 10 that came in, so I've kept the 10.
Yeah, so well done, 10-year-old Dave. There it is. It does look like you sewed that on yourself.
So you've got 79 tops, mate. Can I have that one? It's nice.
No, not this one.
No, so the ones that you swapped back in the day, because Socceroos, like especially when you played, we went everywhere. Like we really travelled the world, Asia and Africa, South America, everywhere. Do you remember some of the shirts that you swapped for?
Yeah, you know, Davy Cooper from Scotland, probably some of the big ones. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, I got his.
Karl-Heinz Rummenigge?
Yeah, but it was a club one.
But he was coming for yours. He was.
Trevor Francis and
when he came here, because I remember when he came here.
Yeah, and John Barnes and
John Barnes,
Mario,
But,
Muller.
You know, Alan, people, we think we talk about, when Real Madrid come out here and Liverpool and stuff come out. In the 80s, I reckon in 1984 or 85, I'm sure that in one particular year we had Celtic, Manchester United, Manchester City, Juventus, and that's just really, that was only about 3 or 4. In the whole year, there would have been about 12 teams that came and travelled. They used to have those round-robin tournaments and stuff.
Yeah, it was good, we had a lot of games and, a lot of them, at those times, we played a lot of big clubs as well, so it was quite a cocktail of teams in football.
Did you ever play the North Korean army teams that came out?
Well, they did.
Seriously, did you ever play any of those?
No, I didn't. Maybe, thank God as well. I might have been lined up as a trainer.
They had a very good defence, mate.
Alan, were you there at the game? Oh, of course, we saw you there as an ambassador.
You are officially an ambassador?
Because he's an ambassador.
Have you seen him?
You're an ambassador. Jeez,
Not for Japan either.
No. They just hand them out to anyone. That's
But in all seriousness, of all the events that you've actually shown up at, and last night you were there front and centre, got a big cheer when you went up on the big screen. In all your work as an Asian Cup ambassador, did you know that he was also one? Till just now.
No, I did.
No, you did.
I did.
Did he come to any of the functions?
Not the ones I was at.
No, he didn't.
I will defend myself and say I went to every one I was invited to.
That's right.
So we might have missed that.
Alan, last night, how do you reckon we went?
We did well.
Yeah.
I think we did well because we won for a start.
Yeah,
I guess playing Kuwait was maybe a blessing in some ways, playing them first. And, and I think the games were going to get harder from here on in.
Right. When we were watching, obviously the 7-minute mark wasn't a great moment, and then I reckon the next 23 minutes weren't great until Timmy scored that equaliser. That's just the real fandom. With your experience, do you watch those first 30 minutes with a different light? You think it's a long game and...
there's always times you can win a game in the last minute. So, the thing is that they scored early, which wasn't good, but at the same time, there was a lot of time for us to come back and obviously Anne's got that house right and sorted it out and we finished well and, I think if... I shouldn't say this perhaps, but might have been one of the easiest games of our group. Do you know what I mean? So
But you still got to win them.
You still got to win them, and you've still got to score goals. So
and you can play yourself into form as well.
Absolutely.
So I reckon the second half would have been good for them.
Absolutely, and spirit was good during the camp. So it's only confidence and building on that now, and got the win. It's first game's out of the road. The first game, opening game's always a lot of stress and nerves. So it's out of the road. So we keep going forward.
Alan, we know Jason, of course, in the squad. And a key part of the team. Jason grew up doing academy work in Japan. Now, how long ago was that?
That was when he was 14.
So is that about
Yeah, so
seven or eight,
seven,
seven or 8 years ago?
yeah.
Are any of those boys now in the Japan side?
They've got a couple in the under 23s.
Okay, so they're still getting
and
there.
they've got a few overseas playing in Europe.
The reason I ask is Japan is obviously the benchmark. They're the benchmark, especially in the Asian Cup. Having had contact with the Asian Academy and stuff like that, do you think that they will be a hard team to break down?
I think whoever beats Japan will win the Asian Cup.
Okay,
You're right.
so they are.
That's my opinion. I also think Iran might be a dark horse as well.
Okay, okay. And just sticking with Japan just for a
Yes.
sec, because they chose a path 10 years ago to go a particular way with their youngsters.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit, having had Jason there, can you tell us, I mean, what was it like for Jason there? Was it difficult going through the Japanese system?
Like a holiday?
No. Well, you've got to remember, Jason's an Aussie and he's got a Western mind going into an Eastern country. People don't realise that with Eastern mind, Japan's a very structured culture and different, but he learnt, it was hard. Firstly, the thing that was, I wanted to take Jason over to Japan just to show him another type of football. He got there, he was blown away, he wanted to get back, he was offered a spot, and then, he eventually went back. But
and how tough was it? I mean, is discipline a big part of it, or did they concentrate on the Brazilian side of things? Because I know there were Brazilian coaches there at the time.
Yeah, there's a big South American influence in Japanese football.
Yeah.
But in saying that, though, it was quite interesting for me because there. And I don't need me to say this in a negative way, but some of the cultural things that Japan offers as something that might be waning a little bit here, in terms of hard work, responsibility, discipline, respect, you know what I mean? So these are all cultural things that were
So give us
there.
Cultural things. East, west. So we're fine.
Hey, Southern Italian. Southern.
Just to answer that question,
Yes.
I guess that, an example that I can think of, that we were there for 3 days and then Effie and I were told, that's it, you have to leave. And we weren't allowed to contact Jason for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
And and that's through phone, email, anything. We weren't allowed to contact with him. And he didn't speak a word of Japanese, they didn't speak a word of English. And
East. Good on you, East.
And I asked him why, and he said, listen, this is all part of the mental approach. We want to see how strong these kids are, and if they're weak, we turf them out anyway.
So give us an example of how tough they would have been on him.
Well, on his first day at training, he went to that ground, and he should have went to that ground, and he didn't know because the guy was on the phone.
Right.
So he went to that ground, and the coach said to him, you're 1 minute late. And he said, I'm sorry, I didn't, this is broken Japanese, broken English type talk. And he said, and anyway, he was 1 minute late, it didn't happen again. So, and then the next day, they punished him and the team for Jason being 1 minute late. They shaved everyone's head.
What?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. So they should have.
So I do want to say something positive on that note.
No.
He's never been late.
No,
for training.
exactly.
And there used to be more discipline. I mean, you grew up in the NSL system, or even practically, maybe even before, as in terms of it. I mean, was there...
What was there before the NFL?
Convict football.
It used to be the state league, Sam.
Did you play in the state league?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, was it tougher back then, or is it?
Yeah, I think that
Because Dukes reckons it was. Dukes reckons.
Well, he
we've
came
lost...
through probably a time when it was quite easy when I was going through it.
Right.
If we go back through generation, if you spoke to someone like Branko Buljevic or these guys, they would turn around and say it was even harder in Raleig's era, Raleigh Razic's era. So but it was tough, and I think that as parents and as Australians, we want to give our children the best we can, and we want to give them everything. And I think one of the things that I've learnt from Japan is that over there they have a view that they make everyone earn their spots and what they do in life, whereas we spoil our kids, we give them everything, and if we talk about a lazy generation, you know what I mean? I hear that word often spoken, and you know, this is something that, you know, and I think it'd be good to see, if you ever got a chance to speak to Jason, talk to Jason about what hard work is, and talk to him about going through that period, you know, like loneliness, dealing with loneliness, or dealing, you don't know what loneliness is, you don't know what unhappiness is.
He knows what loneliness is.
I do. You know why? Because every week on this show, I feel like I'm doing it my own.
Yeah, but it's only until you're lonely or if you've been unhappy that you realise and you appreciate what they are. So,
well, we've got to let Alan go. One last.
All right, one last. No, only because 79 appearances for the Socceroos. 79 appearances. 2 goals. Take us through.
We may not have time. That might have to be.
I was going to say, you don't even remember the 2 goals.
There you go. Can you please thank Alan Davidson? We're back right after this.
Santo eliminates Asian Cup fever.
This has been a production of Fox Sports.